your account there, I want also, you can use your recently created GitHub credentials to also create an account on Gitbot. That's going to be our coding editor. If you want to work locally and you have already a setup like a Visual Studio or something like that, like a VS Code, you can use your local setup. If you don't have it, then we can you can use gitpod.io. That's what I am going to be using. It's the same Visual Studio but on the cloud, so that you don't have to compromise any of your computer resources. And I would also recommend it for the workshop because you will be able to send me a link if you're having trouble in your computer or in your code or whatever. You're going to be able to share that with me, and it's going to be great for collaboration. Thank you, Ana. Thank you. Oh yes, I'm Alejandro. I'm a software developer. I've been coding for 20 years already. If you guys can turn on your cameras, um, it'll be better so that we can make it more interactive. I wanna make it 100% interactive. I don't want to be speaking here on my own. I want to do an exercise with you guys. So yeah, coding for 20 years, and especially front end applications and back end applications. I'm not a specialist in mobile or in machine learning or things like that. Just a full stack web developer. That it's what I would recommend being the best entry path for coding, because it's where the majority of the openings are, and then you can find better or more suitable specialization or area that you want to consolidate after you are a full stack web developer. That will be my recommendation. This is something we do for a living. We prepare people to become a software developer. So this exercise is part of the syllabus that we have. It's actually like in week number 2 or 3. But I think we can manage and do it together today, because it's with a little bit of help, you can work around all the little challenges that you will have at the beginning. I wanted to know your level of coding right now. So if you can tell me, let's say I'm gonna put like option 1, 2, and 3 so that you can pick, right? So option 1 would be I know nothing. I haven't even like opened a coding editor. Option 2 would be I know some HTML, CSS, and option 3 is I already have some web dev experience. So you can put in the chat 1, 2, or 3, depending on your level of experience, so that I can measure the class and adjust better. If you don't say anything in the chat, then you're not going to influence the way that the course is going to be, the workshop is going to be taught. So a bunch of 3s, and then a couple of 1s. Okay. Yeah, that happens sometimes that we do some Java and then that's it. Probably in the university or something. I started with Java as well. Well, no, I started with Pascal, but then I transitioned to Java, and I didn't have any experience in HTML and CSS until later. So I think sadly the class is divided between 1 and 3, right? So it's quite a challenge. So I guess some of the people that already know web development and stuff, maybe you can take what you can get from the workshop. I'm going to be mentioning a lot of best practices as well. So it's not only about learning the syntax, but also like how I would do it with all my years of experience. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like in the middle. I'm going to start with a little introduction on HTML, CSS, so that people that know nothing have a background, and then we can jump on building the landing page. Let me share my screen. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I want you guys to do as well, is open the browser and look for this one. Yeah. This URL that I'm going to put on the chat. It's here on the chat. We're going to be doing something like this, what I have in front of me. I think I shared the wrong one. My bad. Let me stop sharing and share the other one. Okay, there it is. So this is what we're going to be building. It's a real life landing page from a marketing team from Shopify. Even though the URL says Spotify, because when we created the project, we were completely confused, as you can see. And we have to fix it now, but if we fix it, then the other links are going to be broken because they're going to be pointing to Spotify instead of Shopify, so it's a real mess. So we have a Spotify landing page that is really for Shopify. Okay, and the next thing you'll do is after you open this, logging into your GitHub account. If you haven't created already, then go ahead and create it. And you are going also to download this Gitbot extension or pod.io this https. Okay. So if you click on that link that I just put on the chat, that's gonna open a coding editor for you. No matter in what computer you are, it's gonna open a coding editor. Obviously, it's gonna ask you to sign in first. It's gonna start bouncing an orange logo while it loads, but as you can see, mine is already loaded, so it's pretty fast, the loading time for the project. So let me know in the chat once you have already opened the coding editor. And also let me know in the chat if you have any issues doing this, if you have any problems or something that happened to you. In the meantime, I'm gonna be looking for a command that we have to run next. So Python full H. Very good. I think it's this one. Try it. And no, it's not this one. Then it's the other one then. If you haven't ever used it, don't worry. I mean, it's this workshop is designed for people that haven't ever used it either. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna explain how it works. Just let me know if you see what I see. Like if you have the coding editor and it says getting started here in front of you and it says start recent. Let me know yes or no in the chat once you have it. Also, let me know if you have any questions or any problems. So we have four yeses, 5. We are 20 people here, so I'm gonna wait like for 10 and then we can continue. 10 people saying it. If you just want me to move forward, you can say yes and you're gonna be counted in one of those. So this command here that I just copied here is because when you're building websites, one of the biggest issues or walls when you're building a website or for the first time you're trying to code something, it's running it for the first time, like seeing your changes, right? So, and that is because what you're building is really website cannot run on their own. I know that you think you can just open an index.html file in your computer, and maybe you can. Like I can create here, I can come here, create a new file, and call it index.html. Let me see if I can. Delete, and then I open it here. Open a new one. Then I say here, this is my website. And then I save it, and I put its name HTML index.html. And then I put it on anywhere in my computer, and then I save it. You cannot say this document with extension HTML at the end of the require extension. No, I'm gonna use both. I don't care what the computer is saying. I'm gonna override it. So I'm gonna now actually override it. Use HTML. Perfect. Okay. So I have my HTML here. If I double click this, it's gonna open on a browser. Yeah. It's gonna start asking me a bunch of things, and then it's gonna display something weird here. So actually, that's not the approach. Even if you open it with let me just put here again. This is. Are you? What am I doing? Yes, all right. This is my website. So if I refresh, you'll see that it says this is my website. But still, it's not a good idea. This is not a good idea to open and double click a website in your computer. It's not, because you're never going to get the full experience. Because when you're doing a website, you have to start requesting other resources like images and CSSs and HTMLs and other stuff. And that other stuff, it's not going to work if you do it like this. So you're going to have the feeling that you're making progress, and maybe you're going to start doing some things. And maybe if you know something about HTML, you know that you can do, for example, an H1 like this. Let me make it bigger so that everyone can see. So mean if comma. There you go. Okay. So I can do an H1 that means heading 1. So I can say hello. Well, it's not even showing like how it's supposed to, right? Yeah. How crazy. Look, it's interpreting it differently. Okay, let me see if I can open this again and see why being saved as its view make plain text. That was the problem. Now it's better. Let me refresh. Now it says file not because it saved it like a txt. Oh, this thing is playing me. Need to change the extension again. Still create a web server first. So this is a web server. Imagine this is the typical image that we use for web service, and wait for stuff. And its main goal is to expose folders to the internet. Okay, so if I have a folder, let's say that I create a folder here and I'm going to call it my website, and then I put the index inside, then I can tell a server, to say this is the path to my, actually not to my computer, to my route. If I a little bit, and basically has my IP address, they will be able to type IP address slash, as long as it's an address, an internet address. It could be an IP, it could be a local host, or it could be a domain. So that's what we're going to be doing. And this command here that it's called Python HTTP server, it's going to do that for us. So when you are here in this coding editor, you're going to click on the menu and you're going to look for terminal. Okay. click on the menu and look for terminal, and then click on new terminal. And this is going to open, it's going to open for us a terminal that is a computer terminal where I can paste this command. And once I paste it, it's going to expose my current folder into the internet. And what's my current folder? This one here, exercise Spotify landing page. Okay, so let's try it. I'm going to present it. You'll see how automatically it popped here. It's saying that I can make public open preview or open browser. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make it public so that my mom and my grandma can see my website once I finish. So I'm going to make it public. And the second thing that I'm going to do is, well, it closed, so that's sad, right? So if it closes, don't worry. You can click here at the bottom where it says ports, and it will show you here what you have open into the internet. And you have the port 8000 open to the internet, so you can click here in this little globe, and it's going to open the website for you. So this is what it's opening for me right now. I'm going to put it on the right side of the screen. I'm going to put it on the right the website, and on the left the editor. And here we are. Okay. So again, what happened here? I exposed a folder into the internet. That folder is the root. We call it the root. It's this one. It's my main project. And it's exposed entirely. You can see that now my grandma, if she wants, she can here click on these things, and she's going to be actually opening this files, the zip file, the JSON file, the image, everything she's going to be able to see. And servers expose folders to the Hadron Collider that discovered the Higgs particle and all these famous experiments. They also invented this protocol, and they wanted to share files with peers. And they said, okay, let's just expose folders to the internet. And that's what they invented. That it's called a web server. Okay, and now that the website, or it's not a website, my bad, it's a folder. Now that my folder is exposed, then I have to create an index. So create a new file on the left side, right click, new file, okay? Right click, a new file. And then you're gonna say index.html. I'm gonna make this bigger as well. There we go, index.html. Can I collapse this? Yeah, like that, better. Actually, I think I can click this, I can delete this bash here. Yeah, I'm gonna delete this bash. There you go, okay. Okay, so I have an index now. Look what's gonna happen if I refresh. Now it's all white. Why do you think that's happening? Anyone has any ideas? You can say it on the chat, or you can say it out loud. Don't worry. Yeah, it's because the file is empty. You mean Arturo is asking if I should open the zip assets? I think you're right. I think we are gonna need those assets later on to put them in the website. But let's wait until that moment happens. For now, let's just create our base structure. Yeah, there's no HTML in the index. You're right. But also, computers have some magic. We developers don't like magic, because magic means not understanding what happened. But sadly, there needs to be some magic all the time in what you're doing. And the server will magically show the index. If the server doesn't find an index, if it doesn't find it, it will show all the files. So that was the first vulnerability. Empty index on every folder that you expose to the internet, because if you don't, the server will list all the files, right? That's crazy. Like hackers will be able to get access to your entire folder, and you don't want that. You want to have an empty index at least on every folder that you have. Okay, so now let's just start coding, because that's what we came here to do. So this is our landing page. I know that everyone's very anxious to code, but we need to start by having a strategy. And this is a very important thing in coding. Actually, nobody cares that you know HTML at all. Why they do care is that you're able to construct some strategy to elaborate the best possible HTML. Because if you have a shitty HTML, then eventually it's gonna backfire. They're gonna ask you to add changes or to make changes or whatever, and it's gonna become a mess, and it's not gonna show up properly in every device. So the real important here, and what I want you to get from this workshop is that you have to go slow but fast. You know, have you ever heard the saying that says, let's go slow that I'm in a hurry? That's basically what we need to do. We need to strategize a lot so that whatever we do it once, and that's it. And then we don't go back and forth with the client. You know what's very annoying? Little pixel here that it's not exactly the same, and it's going to start complaining about it. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a screenshot with awesome screenshot. If you don't have the plugin, I 100% recommend it. It's awesome screenshot. If you already have a screenshot tool that you can annotate, you can use that one. But if you don't, download awesome screenshot. It's a plugin for Chrome or for Firefox or whatever. That's what I use. And then let me show you what I will be doing. I'm going to capture the full page so that I can have access to the entire landing page. Right here it is. Well, it didn't do it. It didn't right. Of course, it's not going to work. I'm recommending it. Let me take only the visible part of the page. There it is. Okay, I can. You have to make it boxes. It's like it's going to end up being a bunch of boxes. This is going to be a box. Because websites can grow, but it's hard for them to grow from top to bottom because normally websites have an infinite scroll. They infinitely scroll. So you cannot tell this part of the website how that to grow automatically. You have to fix it. You have to put a specific height to it. So we're gonna do boxes like this. This is gonna be my first box. Well, actually, my first box is the entire website. Let me put it in different colors so it's better for us. Okay, so the first one's gonna be red. And I'm gonna pick a big one. Okay, this is my main container. It's gonna contain the entire website. Then I'm gonna be doing another box. Let's make it yellow for this thing here. Then another one 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 for this thing here. That's crazy, right? Like maybe you're thinking, how many boxes? It is what it is. It's how you do it in web. You separate everything into boxes. And then if you have something additional that you need, like for example, here we want to split this in two boxes, right? Because we have the left side and the right side. So we're gonna have a box here. Well, this is not a good color. Let me pick another one. Maybe this one. Okay. Well, it's not here. We're gonna have another box here and another box here. Okay, there we go. That can be a possibility. Why? Because we need these boxes to be on the same. The only way in web to have a layout that has boxes on the sides, like on the sides, I mean one box here and one on the other side, is to wrap them in a bigger box. It's the only way, okay? Rule. The only way to have boxes on the side is to wrap it in a bigger box. It's the only way, because boxes on the sides are hard in web, are really tough. Any web developer will tell you how annoying it is at the beginning to learn that. It's pretty annoying. So just learn it once. That's it. Let's go over it. If you want two boxes to be on the sides, you need a parent box. We call it parent. It's the parent of those boxes. So that's what I'm doing here, right? This yellow box here, this yellow box is the parent of the other two green boxes. Oh, well, have to put back, whatever. So we have our strategy now, right? Well, maybe you're thinking about this picture, but I can guarantee you that this picture is just a picture. You cannot do this with HTML. You're gonna have to ask the designer for the entire picture. It's the only way. And the entire picture is gonna come with everything. It's gonna come with this, like all of this. Let me highlight how I think are the borders of this picture. I think this picture has borders like this. So basically, you're just gonna put it there, right? And that's it. You're just gonna put it there, and it's gonna look like this centered image. Okay, and then after you do this, after you have your strategy, then it's all about implementation. I'm reading the comments here, so I know that Demian was saying hello in Spanish and then in English or whatever. So if you guys have any questions, just ask. So we're gonna know. I'm gonna put on the right side well, I'm gonna try to put on the right side. How can I bring this to the other? I'm thinking I'm gonna have to share make this. Okay. Get this out of the way. And I can put it here. Now I can put this on the right. This on the left. Okay. I have my index.html, so I'm gonna start building that now. You can ignore this server. Just put it at the bottom so that doesn't bother you. Okay. The first thing we're going to be doing, another recommendation. Typing is the worst thing you can do. Typing is bad for your health. So don't type. I know that at the beginning it's hard not to type, but senior developers don't type. They just copy paste or use the keyboard. So the first trick that I'm going to show you, you have to learn one trick a week, because if not, you get overwhelmed. But maybe your first week, you're going to be learning about exclamation. Exclamation is what we call an EMET abbreviation, because every HTML website has the same structure. So if the same initial structure. So if you put exclamation and then you press enter, it's going to introduce the initial statement for you. And then you don't have to care about all the other stuff. We never care about that. And then you start coding on line number 10. And here we can do our boxes. When I say the word box, what I really mean is division. So you're going to have divs like this. HTML is opening and closing divs all the time. It's a language that opens and closes, opens and closes. Everything that you see here is opening and closing. Not this three meta, though. These are the only tags that don't open and close, the meta tags. But you can see here that head, HTML, head, all of them have an opening and closing tag. And the reason they do that is because you want to nest them. So basically, when you see something like this, that you have a box within a box, that basically means that you have a div, and then inside that div, you put another div. You see, here it is. So this is, I am a box inside another box. Because the first box is, I cannot annotate if I'm putting my screen like this. So I'm going to stop annotating. How can I stop annotating? I need to go, yeah, and okay. So I was going to annotate that this is the first div, and then this is the children, right? We call it children because it's inside. It's like the child of this div. So HTML is a hierarchy. That means that it looks always for parent, child, like a family, or like the army. It's a hierarchy, so parent, child. So who's the parent of this div? This other div. And who's the parent of this div? This body. And who's the parent of the body? No one. I know that you may think that HTML is the parent, but it's not. And the website stops at body because all the other stuff is not visible. So we only care about the body when we're talking about visibility. Okay, so I'm gonna put this weird symbol here because when you add this weird symbol, it will ignore the text as a comment. And I want to leave it here for you guys. So yeah, I am a box inside another box. Okay, so we have one box, the red one. Let's call this one red for now. So this one is red. Then the other ones are yellow, right? So this is one of the yellow ones. Actually, you know what? Let me do it like that. I'm gonna say here, class red. And don't worry, I'm gonna explain this, but not now. Then class yellow. And then of course we have a bunch of yellows, right? So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellows. So this is another trick. You can select the yellow one from the beginning to the end. Please don't make the mistake of, when selecting things, mis-selecting. Like, for example, you want to select this div and then you start from the middle. Do not do that. That's a big mistake. You're gonna get into a rabbit hole. You're gonna spend months or days trying to fix it. So don't do that. Just be very careful when selecting. Actually, my recommendation is using the keyboard. Just select using the keyboard. And then once you have it selected, you're gonna press Option if you have Mac, or Alt if you have PC. And then with the Option, and at the same time, you're gonna hold Shift. And then you're gonna press down. Boom, 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 boom. So again, you're gonna press Option or Alt plus Shift plus down. I put it on the chat there. And that's gonna basically duplicate your selected lines. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm missing 1. So 7. There we go. Now we have 7 yellow boxes, the same way that we had 7 yellow boxes on our drawing. Who's having issues? Do you want to share your screen and show the issues? I know that this is putting you up on the spotlight, but actually, believe it or not, everyone is having issues right now, and you think you're the only one because you have imposter syndrome and you think you're stupid and everyone else is intelligent, but that's not true. Everyone is having a hard time. So if you expose yourself, you'll be helping other people because they are afraid to ask. And if you ask, you're going to probably be asking the same things that they have on their minds. So if you have any issues, just ask. Because everyone here is struggling, because the first time you do something like this, it's impossible to not make a mistake. Actually, senior developers are the opposite of what you think. Senior developers are extremely aware of how many mistakes they do per minute. So instead of thinking that they're not going to make a mistake, they prepare for mistakes all the time. They are so afraid of themselves that they continuously adapt their behavior to avoid future issues. Like, for example, when you have an extra pair of keys on your door hidden around your patio, in the door, outside your patio, it's because you know that you're going to lose your keys. You're going to lose your keys one day. The same thing that happens with developers. I absolutely understand that they are completely broken and that they make so many mistakes that they prepare for them all the time. They're obsessed with that. I am obsessed with having the best possible code so that tomorrow when I come back, I understand it in 3 seconds and I don't make any mistakes. Okay, so coming back here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, we have 6, not 7. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay. Now, in the green one, we have a green one here that is in the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 4th one, I'm going to put the 2 green ones, right? So div and close, and the computer is going to close it for me. I'm going to make it class green. two green boxes. And maybe you're asking, okay, why are these boxes opening and closing like this with this indentation and these spaces on the left, but these ones aren't? Oh, because I have my own style. I don't have to. If I know that I'm gonna have an empty div, sometimes I just leave it as it is. I just open and close right away. But if I know that I'm gonna have a bunch of things inside, then I leave it open like this because I know that I'm gonna have stuff inside. But if you want, you can also put here. You can separate it as well, and then you can have. I'm gonna say here as a comment. I'm gonna say here like. Here we have the input, and then here we have the button. Another great analogy with HTML CSS is that it's like you're doing Word documents. And I know that we are far away from a Word document or a text document, but really we are not, because HTML was built to recreate text editors like Microsoft Word. So I know that divs are not an element. A div is not an element that it's frequently seen in Microsoft Word, but you'll see that the other elements are. So like the button, the input, the title, the bold, paragraph, all those things are usually in a text processing document, and you'll see how we're going to be using them. So okay, that's it. We have our yellows and greens and new file, and I'm going to do now style.css. Why CSS? It's cascading style sheet. That's the translation for it, and it means styles. That's what it means. Because when you do a website, you want to separate completely your content from your styles. So I'm going to put on the right side an important word that you link it with your HTML. They have to be like partners. So how do you do that? You do a link tag. You say the word link like this, and hopefully, no, it didn't help me. So just say the word link and don't add the less than at the beginning. Don't do less than. Just do link. Say link. And then it's going to say again, Emmet abbreviation. Remember that we were talking about Emmet at the beginning with the exclamation mark. So Emmet is this tool that helps you. So every time you see the word Emmet, that's good news. So now I'm going to pick the Emmet abbreviation, 1, 2, 3. And it's going to add the HTML for me. And I'm just going to put the name of my style sheet, style.css. And there we go. We have a link to our style sheet. Say in the chat if you did it already, or if you didn't, also say it so that we can stop and fix it. But basically, we have our style. And just to test that my style works, I'm going to say here, body, I want the body in background blue. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I want my body in background blue. How did you start on style? By start, you mean creating the file. You right click here. This is how you open and close your files, right? So every time that you want to open your or close, just to have more space, you can click here on the top on this icon. And then once it's opened, you can either click on this little box on the top that says new file, or you can right click a new file, and then you're going to name it style.css, like this, style.css. You're going to see how the icon changes. It's going to be a hashtag, the icon for that one. Okay. After you have that, you open it, right? You double click it, and it's going to open like this in the middle. So you want to click on it. Actually, don't click on it, my bad. It's easier to click on this icon on the right. You see this icon here that says split editor right. So you're going to click on split editor right. And that's going to put it on the right side as well. And then you're going to close the original one. Pack it. And there we go. So now we have HTML on the left CSS on the right. Okay, another thing that I'm going to do is that I wanna see how our website is doing right now, right? So let's do it. I'm gonna open again the website. I don't remember the address for the website, so I'm just gonna click here again in ports here at the bottom, ports, or here in Remote Explorer is the name of the icon, and it's going to show me the ports, and I'm gonna click on the green one to open it, and that's how my website's looking right now. It's blue. I'm gonna drag and drop it. Oh no, if I do this, I'm gonna lose my layout. But I really want to do it, so I guess I prefer to lose my layout right now and have it on the left. So I'm gonna move it to the left now. Oh no, what is this? Okay. Okay, yeah, I do want to have it on the left. Amazing. Okay. On the right, my bad. Okay, so what do I have now? I'm gonna close all the other stuff because I don't need it. I guess that's it. Okay, so I have on the left, I have my website, the image, and the whiteboard just in case I need it. And on the right, I have my code. Okay, let's continue with this. So as you can see, the website is blue. If your website is not blue, say it so that we can fix it. It's probably missing the style. Maybe you put plural styles. Maybe you didn't put the dot. Maybe you didn't say href, but you said ref h. You know, you have to be very careful with the syntax because that's the only thing that matters, right? That you say it the way it is link rel style sheet href style. Okay, so here we are. How do you start the port again? Okay, to start the port again, the command that you put in the you open your terminal, so you go to terminal, new terminal, here on the menu on the left, click on the menu, terminal, new terminal, and then you copy this command that I'm giving you. You have to put it somewhere in your computer so that you don't lose it. And then you're gonna put that in your computer, and it's gonna ask you again to open the browser or open the preview. And if you wanna open the ports, you click here on the left or at the bottom here where it says port 8000, and it's gonna show you here on the left the ports. Okay. So going back to the website, we have the background blue, and remember that I was putting names to this like red, yellow. Okay, so what is a class? A class is like a group. This could be very well be called group, but it's not how the people from the CERN Institute decided to call it. They decided to call it class. What is a class? It's a group of styles. Okay, so if I want to style many things at once, I can have a class. So for example, I can say now that all the yellow, I want it to be border yellow of 1 pixel solid. And what is that going to do? It's going to make them yellow. You see, there they are. I know that it seems like one box, but it's really, believe me, it's not one box. It's a bunch of boxes all together, very small. So another thing that we can do to make them show like real boxes, we can add some stuff inside, right? So I'm just gonna put padding 1 pixel, or maybe just put 5 pixels, a little bit, and then let's refresh. And now you can see the boxes. You see? Let me make the border bigger. There it is. We have our boxes now. And then I'm gonna do the same with the red one, right? So the red one, I'm gonna make it red. So instead of yellow, red. And maybe you're saying, okay, but why is red a class if only one box is red? Because I want. That's it. Like you can use classes for one element or for many elements. I don't like using IDs like this ID. You can use an ID if you want, but IDs are not reusable. So I don't like it, because one of the main things that you're told when you're doing web development is don't repeat yourself. And that is best practice in CSS. So if you want to read about best practices in CSS, this is one of the best ones. And here's an example. Well, this is an entire presentation on that, but basically, if I put IDs, then I would have to call this, let's say, yellow 1, and this one yellow 2, right? And then I would have to say here, instead of dot, I would use hashtag, right? So I would say hashtag yellow 1, hashtag yellow 2. You see how I'm repeating myself? If they're both going to be the same, then why putting it like an ID? It's better to use dot instead of hashtag and to use class instead of ID. Okay, so again, dots are for classes, hashtags are for IDs. Don't ever use ID because that's how developers do it. Senior developers, at least. Now I'm going to start adding all the. Let me see. Zip. And then, oh, we can. Oh, this is so amazing. Okay, now let's do the other one. Let's try. So I'm gonna do this and then assets. I don't want to do file.zip. I want to do assets.zip. 1, 2, 3. It did it amazingly. So I'm gonna share the command so that you guys can paste it. So it's going to be first the sudo thing here, followed by the unzip command. Unzip. There it is. So I'm pasting it here on the editor. So what are you going to do? You are going to, you have probably this in your computer right now. You have the server running. So you cannot, you can type here, but it's not going to work because it needs to be blue in order for you to type. So what you're going to do is that you're going to press on this plus. There's a plus on the terminal on the top right. You're going to press on that, and it's going to open a new terminal for you. And then you're going to paste the command there. You're going to paste it with your keyboard. It's probably going to ask you something on the top about pasting, and you can say yes to the permissions to paste. And then you're going to press enter. And then it's going to magically show up the assets here on this folder. But let me know if you're having issues with that command. I don't think you're going to encounter any issues, but just in case. Okay, now we have the pictures that we needed, right? We needed this picture that I was telling you about the computer and stuff, and we needed the Shopify logo that's here. So we have, if you open the folder, you have one.png and logo.png. And those are the two images that we needed. So we're going to incorporate now the first image. If you have any issues with the zip, please don't hesitate to ask. So it's going to be image, source. We're going to be using an image tag. An image tag is for images. You know what? Do what I say. Don't type it. That typing is bad for health. Just say img. That's it. Img. And it's going to show you the Emmet abbreviation again. Now for images. So IMG, and it's going to show you, by the way, um, you have to do it in the right div, right? So go to the first yellow div, to the first one, to this one. Inside that first yellow div, make sure you have the right indentation. So one, you have to have one, and then two like this, and then a third one, three tabs. So one, two, three tabs. And then you're gonna be in sync with the same green one here. And right there, you're gonna say IMG, and you're gonna wait for the Emmet abbreviation here, and then you're gonna press on it. Boom. And it's going to complete the tag for you. And it's gonna leave your pointer blinking on the source property. You see how it says source equal to quote quote, source equal to quote quote. You have to put inside your quote quote, you have to put the image. Okay. So you're gonna say assets logo.png. Start typing assets. It's gonna autocomplete for you. The folder and the zip, right? We don't want the zip, right? So we're gonna select the assets folder, and then we're gonna select logo. And there we go. Then we save. Don't forget to save with Command S. You have to save. Actually, I would strongly recommend to do File, Autosave. And that way, you see how it's checked now? So that means it's auto-saving for me. I don't have to worry about saving anymore. And then I can refresh my website. Look, boom, there's the Shopify logo. That's my Shopify logo. And then I'm gonna tell all the yellow boxes to be centered, text center. I know that it would be more ideal to have center like this, center, or align, center, but that doesn't exist. The name of the property is text center, and you don't have to text align, my bad, text align, and you don't have to remember that. Nobody cares that you remember this, because you can just do it like this. You can do how to center inside div, and it's going to tell you right away that you can use, well, no, this is how to center the div, but I don't want to center the div. I want to center the content. So center div content. How to horizontally center the content of the div. Text align center. Here it is. I know that you're gonna copy all of this, but this is just too much. The only thing we need is text align center. You're gonna get over all those questions quickly once you start practicing with very targeted exercises that show you everything. So if I refresh now, you can see that my image is not centered. Woohoo! It's supposed to, but it didn't. Because it says yellow one still. Let me remove the yellow one and put just yellow. Yeah, my bad. Okay. Now it's centered. So you can see if I make my website bigger, okay, what's next? We're gonna do sell online with Shopify. For that, we're gonna be using in the second yellow box, we're gonna put a H1. So again, don't do the less than, just to say H1 and wait for the Emmet abbreviation and then press enter. And then the cursor will be in the middle of the H1 and you're gonna say whatever the website wants you to say. So it's gonna be sell online with Shopify. Okay, so B5. Then what's next? Well, let's refresh. There it is, sell online with Shopify. Then the second one, trusted over 800,000 business worldwide. It's a little bit smaller, so we're gonna put H2 for that one. So we're gonna go to the third yellow box and we're gonna put H2, wait for the Emmet abbreviation, and then press enter. And then trusted by over 800,000 businesses worldwide. World wide. To copy this and the server. So I'm gonna paste it here in the command line, in the command line, no, in the chat, my bad. And you're gonna paste it in your command line. Maybe make sure first that your website is not, yeah, right. Depending on your computer, you have to say Python 3 because if your computer is prior to 2019, I think they come with Python 2 and Python 3, but Python 2 is already deprecated, so you have to say Python 3. Also, make sure that your website is not running already here. If you see a green dot port, that means it's already running. Okay, so when you click here and you see a green one, it's already running, so you don't have to do this command all over again. You can just click here on the little Earth, the browser. Well, I think that's Earth, but maybe it's just the browser. Okay, so I'm gonna collapse now again. And we were doing the trusted for business worldwide. Okay. So let me go back to my website and refresh. You see how I never close my tab, right? Don't close your tab because I have to open again. So don't close it. And then I'm gonna let Emmett help us out. So enter. And then in the other green box, we're gonna put a button, right? So button, and we're gonna let Emmett help us out. Boom. And in the middle of the button, we're gonna say start free trial. In the middle of the button. Enter your email address. You don't put it on the middle, like you don't close the input like this. Input and put your text here, like enter your email. You don't do that. You do it in something called a placeholder, because that text is not really the real text that the input is going to have. That's more like for the user. Let me collapse my files so that you can see it permanently. There it is. Okay. Then I'm going to refresh. It says enter your email address and start free. And then below that, we're going to put try Shopify free for 14 days, blah, blah, blah. So I might help you. P is for paragraph. And then you type try Shopify free for 14 days. No credit card required. By entering your email, you agree to receive marketing. There we go. Let's refresh. There it is. And the last, the image. So we're gonna put another image, right? So again, IMG, and we let Emmett help us. And then in the source, we put assets, and then one.png, and then we refresh. So we don't need this ugly blue, right? How can you pick the right color? I don't guess the color, but you can guess it. But normally Mac has a utility that you can download in PC as well. That it's called, click here on the on the spotlight, right? And you type color utility and you press enter, it's gonna open something weird. What? No, this is not it. Maybe it's not color. Let me see. Let me go back to this and type. Ah, it's the other. My bad. Hit the color meter, select anything in your computer, and it's gonna show you the color code for that. Don't worry, I'm gonna give you the color code so that you don't have to look for it. Um, there's another way, by the way. Yeah, there's another way that it's supported in every computer. Yeah. So the other way is, let me see if I can use it like this. No, this doesn't work. So the other way would be to right click on your purple image, inspect, and then how can I do this? Wow, this is Hollywood. Color, blue, whatever. And then I'm gonna click here, and then I'm gonna click here, and then I'm gonna click here. Yeah. So it's a little bit annoying. It's a little bit annoying. Like I opened something called the inspector website, and then I typed color here, and then it showed me a color, and then I click on the color, and it shows me to pick a color, and I click on this little color picker here until it's purple, and then I can select any color from the website. And in this case, it was 5CB blah blah. I'm gonna put the color here in the chat. There it is. Okay, so let's put it now as background. Instead of having a background blue, we're gonna have a background purple, right? So hash that. There it is, our background. Now I'm gonna refresh. Boom. Now we have the right color. Now the Shopify is supposed to be white, and it's like all grayed out. I don't know why it's all gray. This is horrible. We'll figure that later. For now, I'm going to remove the annoying. No, I'm not going to remove yet the annoying boxes in yellow. Yeah, obviously. So green. Remember when I was telling you that if you want to have boxes side by side, you need a parent box. Well, basically, we have to now grab the parent box of these two, and we have to tell that box a particular property called display flex. And this is something that you have to remember. Like, you do have to remember this. The magic word to make a parent have the child's side by side, it's called display flex. Okay, display flex. So I have to select, I have to be able to select this box. So I know it's the 1, 2, 3, the fourth one. So 1, 2, 3, the fourth one. And to this one, I'm gonna make it, let's say, splitted. I am inventing this word. This word doesn't exist. I can say the word whatever. I can say car. Doesn't really matter. As long as you put a space, right? A space. Here. Yellow splitted. And now I'm gonna grab that splitted word and I'm gonna bring it here and I'm gonna say all the splitted boxes I wanna have display flex. So from now on, I can use the splitted word anywhere in any box that I wanna split the child. Okay, so yellow and splitted. And then I'm gonna refresh. And you'll see how now they're splitted. Look. Okay, the last thing will be to center, well, not the last, my bad. The next thing will be to center the splitted box. Because now you can see that it's all the way to the left, right? We don't want it in the left, we want it in the middle. So we're gonna say margin auto to see what happens. I actually don't know what's gonna happen. No, it didn't happen. Oh my God, it's horrible. So what can I do? I have no idea. Yeah, I think I know what I can do. I can tell that all the green boxes inside the splitted boxes are gonna have 50% width, because that way, I know that this is a little bit too much, but bear with me. Am I still doing annotations? I think I am, right? The annotation tool is going margin 0 out. Did it work for you? Let me try. No, I think I know why it's not going to work, because I'm applying it to the wrong element. It's not to split it. I know it is. Let me see. Margin 0 out. It's going to work? No, I didn't. So sad. Um, what if we say, I'm gonna say, I want all the splitted divs. So basically, all the divs that are splitted, that are childs of splitted. My bad. When you put a space like this or a greater than, like this, you're saying all the children, not childs. My bad. All the children. Oh, justify content center. Okay, let me just use that one. Justify content center. I think that's going to work. One, two, three. Woohoo! Amazing. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, it's just I forget about those things. No one cares that you remember. Remember, no one cares that you remember. You just have to Google it or ask a colleague or whatever. So there we go. And now we're in the last touches, because now it's all about looking amazing, right? Because we have the right content, but it doesn't look amazing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna make the borders super small, because I don't want them to bother me. So I want to make them 1, and I'm gonna make it dashed instead of solid, so it almost doesn't show up, all of them. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to refresh. Now it almost doesn't show, you see? And that's what we want. Cool. Okay, and now we have to deal with the size of the logo. For example, it needs to be a lot smaller. So let's make it a lot smaller. So the logo is the image inside yellow, right? So I can say either. I can say, I want. No, I think the best way would be to put another class here, logo, like this, logo. And that's it. And now I'm going to say dot logo. I want you to have a maximum height of, let's say, 100 pixels. And we refresh. My bad. I don't apply it to the div. I apply it to the image. So class logo. That's who I have to apply it for. I have to apply it to the image. But still nothing. Maybe 100 is too much. Let me see if 500 pixels is better. Yes, it was too much. So 50 pixels is still too much. Let me make it 40. Oh my God, I did refreshing the wrong one. I lost all my annotations. Okay, I think it's small enough. Yeah, maybe it's too small. I'm gonna make it 40. Okay, cool. 40. Now the text has to be white. As you can see, the entire text in the website is white. So we're gonna make the body color white. And that's not really making the body white, it's making the text white, because the background is already purple. So if I refresh, now it's white. Cool. Now I have to select a font, because fonts are look for Google fonts. Okay, Google Fonts, it's a library that is free and it has millions of fonts. We can see the font or not. I'm gonna go back to the instructions and see shows up. Assets following link. Maybe the font is in the assets, but I don't think so. These are some weird images. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I think that's for the logos at the bottom. Well, okay. So let's continue in Google Font and let's look for a good font that we think it's somehow similar to the Spotify one. I think it's exactly Roboto, by the way. If it's not exactly Roboto, it's very similar. Yeah, the L, everything is the same. The T, yeah, it is Roboto. So I'm gonna make Roboto. So now that I know that it is Roboto, I'm gonna click on it. And then I'm gonna select, you have to select which one you want, thin, italic, light. I think I want the normal one, the regular one. So I'm gonna select this style. And then you can copy the link tag. It's giving you the link tag here. So let's copy that link tag. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna paste it in the chat so you can have it. And then I'm gonna paste it in my HTML, okay? It's a link tag, so it's supposed to go next to your other link tag in the head. You're gonna paste it, and you can see that it actually pasted 3 link tags. It's crazy, right? It pasted 1, 2, and 3 link tags in your website. It's a lot. But that's how they want it, I guess. Now that we have the font, we need to apply this style to the entire body because this is the style for the text. So I'm gonna paste it here as well in the chat, and we're gonna apply it to body. Boom. Now we're gonna refresh, and there it is. We have a better font. I'm sure that you guys haven't done it yet because you're trying to remember the 2 steps. Step number 1, pasting the link tags here in the head, these 3. Step number 2, applying font family to body. Okay. Link tags, body, link tags, body. If you're done, let me know here in the chat so that I can continue. So I'm gonna give you a second, and then I need to speed up. We're gonna too much time here. It's already 7:19. I don't wanna take too much of your time. I think you're getting the knowing the rules, the padding, and what are the possibilities that you have. Like, what can you do? And the only way to know what can you do is by doing, by having a basic tip after this on how to quickly know things that you can guess. Process is okay. I'm gonna continue because we don't have too much time. So we have font already. this padding 5, this is playing against us now. Because padding, let me talk about padding and margin for a second. I think there's a lesson. It's good. The works model, maybe. Yes. So this little tool here shows margin top, bottom, left, this here. The inside box, the child is lighter. And the outside box, or the parent, not outside, the parent of it, it's darker. Make it bigger. Top. So the box inside, it's separating from the parent, but from within. So what's padding? Padding is the space that occurs between a parent and its child. Okay, so this is padding. It's surrounding the child, or I think a better way of putting it is from the edge to inside. From the edge to inside. And then the margin is the opposite. The margin is from the edge outside. So it's like pushing the other elements that are siblings. Pushing the siblings away, that is not the same as pushing the child or the children inside. Okay? So that's the difference between margin and padding. So you can see that the yellow boxes are, each of them, inside. So I don't want that, because in the picture they are together. I mean, they're a lot closer than right now. So I'm going to remove entirely the padding from all the boxes. All the padding that you see, remove them away. Remove them. And then I'm going to refresh. And now we have them closer. But still, they still have some padding, right? We still need to work on that. Okay, and then what else is bothering me? Well, I have no idea anymore. And you don't have to guess. Guessing, it's good for developers. I think guessing is a great ability to have. But in this case, we can open the inspector again. So right click and inspect. And I'm going to show you a trick. Once the inspector is opened, you can start inspecting, obviously, your website. Arrow that you have on the top left of the inspector will help you understand what's happening, because it will allow you to know what's happening. Look, when I put my mouse area above and below, that orange area means margin. Look, green. So when you hover on it, it has no green, no yellow, and margin. So that means if I want that orange annoying thing to go away, I have to reset the margins. Is that clear? To happen, boom, closer to the edge now, right? And then I can do the same with the trusted by over 800,000, but it's an H2, right? So I want all the H2s to have the margin top 0. Now they are together. See, actually now I have the opposite problem now, because yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. Now let's look at the sizing of these two. It's the same, about the same. So what I'm going to do about this other box below, the enter your email address on the free trial, is that I'm going to apply a padding to the padding of both. So I know that it's the yellow splitted container. So I'm going to say the containers that have the class yellow, but also the class splitted, I want them to have a padding of 5 pixels. So I'm basically pushing the child's inside. Now, let's say 10 pixels. So I'm pushing the child's inside. Cool. And then I'm going to remove the margin bottom of the H2 as well. So I'm going to say here, margin bottom 10 pixels, or 0 maybe. Yeah, 0. Let me refresh. I think I went too far. Yeah, I went too far. So I'm going to make bigger now the padding. I'm going to make it 20. Okay, that looks better. Okay, now we have to make the input rounded with the rounded corners and the box and the button as well. So we're going to say all the inputs and all the buttons, I want them to have, this is not working. Why? Do not use empty rule sets. Well, yes, it's empty right now. Okay, so radius, I'm going to apply 10 pixels. And they're supposed to have now a border radius, but they don't for some reason. Because I put it in plural. It doesn't work like that. Okay, there you go. They have the border now. And then I'm going to also say padding to make them bigger. I'm going to apply a margin within, so a padding of 5 pixels. Let's see what happens. Maybe a little bit bigger, 10 pixels. Yes. And then I'm going to remove the border because it has like a dark border that is horrible. 1 pixel, solid gray. No, I actually prefer 0. I'm going to have 0 border. There you go. Now I'm going to separate them with each other. So I can put a margin to the left, to the right one, or a margin to the left one. So I'm going to put a margin to both. Margin. On the top bottom, on the, let's say margin, if you say 0, no, I have to make it even smaller. Let's say 3. Okay, that looks better. I think the border is too much. I'm gonna make it 5 pixels. The border radius. Oh no, I refreshed the wrong one. Okay, cool. Now the button, I want it dark. It's like I like a darker. So the button, I'm gonna make it with a dark background. I'm gonna copy the same purple, but I'm gonna make it darker manually. So something like this, I guess. I can select the color with the color picker, but I already did that, so you guys know how to do it. And then, of course, the color of the text has to be white. Cool. And then the width of the input, I think it needs to be bigger. So I'm gonna tell the input the size of the input, the width has to be, let's say, 200 pixels. Maybe that's too much. We'll see. Oh, it's not. There it is. We're getting there, but still, it looks a lot better in the picture than in our code. So we have to keep tweaking. This is not something that you achieve in particularly, your paddings have to be different. So I'm gonna make top button 10, but left and right 20. And maybe that's going to be, oh, I did input. There you go. You see how it's now better with a has left and right. And then the text that goes below, I don't like it as wide. I think it should be inside. So that was my mistake, because when I did the strategy, I made a mistake. I said that this was going to be a box. I said, this is a box. Let me see why I have some issues with the not selecting in the right place. Do I? Okay, now it's working. Perfect. Okay, so I said this is a box and this is another one. And I think it's a mistake. I think we have to make, and then inside this box, and then inside this box, and then inside the first one, we're gonna have the left and right. I made the mistake because now that my box is not constrained by the parent, this box is not constrained, so it's going away from the input, and we don't want that. So I have to grab that input that is this one, and I have to put it inside the other one. So I'm gonna do that. There it is. So I'm gonna do it. Constraint now. Let me see. Let me see something. I think it's not going to be constrained yet, but I can constrain it now. I can say that this is going to be constrained, whatever. Let's say class constrained. And then I'm going to have all the elements with the class constraint. I'm going to make them width of 500 pixels. And hopefully it is constraining them, but now I have to center it. So margin auto. I think margin auto is going to work now. There you go. So it's, I know that I'm fast, but since we don't have colors, the weird colors, you're going to see that it's going to look a lot better. There you go. This is what we have, and this is what we needed. We are not far away from that. We can all agree that we are not far from there. For any questions and next steps, actually, no, let me give you one tip now. We have prepared a tutorial on doing layouts and CSS and HTML that I don't remember the name, but I can look. Let me look it for you. This one. This one is about HTML. It's super cool because it will open a step-by-step guide for you. If you follow this that you have here, you're gonna be able to the selectors in CSS, the selectors in HTML, classes, IDs, everything that is said. But little by little, look at this folder. This is a folder of exercises. So this one's going to show you about how the website structure is. This one is about replicating an HTML, nested tags, your first table, video tag, So it's a bunch of exercises meant for practicing little things in HTML. I think if you do that, then you can or I want to open the mic for any. We're gonna have the recording, like Anna said. We're gonna have the recording of the workshop, and my Twitter is um, that one that I put in the chat. If you want to follow or ask anything over there, you can. If you are already a member of the Academy, you also have the public support and everything. So a lot of other channels to ask questions. What matters now is that you continue practicing and you ask when you don't have when you don't know something, just ask for it. Don't get stuck for 5 hours. Doesn't make any sense. Ask someone. If you have a friend, a mentor, Twitter. So thank you everyone for coming, and hope to see you in the next workshop.